Hello, everyone. Okay. That makes me look like old, like 25 years of career. I haven't counted that. Okay, great. Okay, nice to see you to see you all, and thank you for the invite, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit of our insights and a couple of initiatives that we are doing here at MTN and across the continent. And yeah, I share the vibes that you were saying at the beginning on what's happening here in the continent. I'm pretty new to the continent myself, but I'm learning every day. I'm really impressed with what's happening, all the initiatives that are happening across the countries. And I believe, yeah, it's an amazing time for all of us to be in a digital space on the continent. I'm super proud to be part of this adventure on a personal and professional level. So yes, I'm part of MTN. I run what we call digital service, which is everything we sell on top of the telco. So a little bit of MTN, about MTN also. I assume that the clicker, yeah, and I probably pressed one. No, that's fine. So a little bit about MTN also. I assume all of you know who we are, but just to give you the latest number, we are the biggest telco across Africa by far. We operate in 18 countries across the continent. Our biggest operation are Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana. We have also Côte d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Uganda, Congo. So we have multiple operations. We are all over the continent. We have a little bit less than 300 million customers across the continent, and relatively, approximately half of them are active data consumers who have a smartphone and have the relevant data package to consume data. And yeah, we quite, as you can see, we quite big, and we are growing quite fast. On my side, I run all the service that we offer to our customer on top of the traditional telco subscription, meaning that we are creating content proposition, we are offering pay service, advertising-based service, we are creating service on top of the content space with what we call e-services. And we also operate what we call the super app, which is not MTN branded, which is IOBA, which is both an instant messaging and also a portal for third-party service, super strong, having reached 35 million unique users across the continent. And in the latest year, let's say that we have renewed and increased our ambition in developing those services. We have actually, by the way, increased the teams a lot. Some of the team are actually here with me in the room, and we have also other speakers in the course of the day. And MTN has created like this enhanced ambition as part of the overall group ambition called Ambition 2025 to become one of the leading, if not the leading provider of service across the continent. So to do that, we have looked a lot at what's happening across Africa, more specifically across Sub-Saharan Africa. And let me share you a little bit of the number that we use in our internal research. So as you said at the beginning, it's an amazing continent. Technology is spreading all over the place. Of course, connectivity is growing a lot. If you look at 4G coverage, we're growing a lot. If you look at smartphone penetration rate, it's growing a lot in the latest year. But here we're making the comparison with China and the US. And if you look at it, yes, it's growing a lot. But the downside of it, if we still far behind over continent, meaning that, of course, there is still a long way to go to unlock connectivity across the continent. And this is around network, and this is around giving the right devices for the people to actually be able to actually use the service and access the internet. If you double-click, not on the pure connectivity, but also on the service consumption side, the gap is even bigger. Here you see on numbers what we have on the consumption of social media, video streaming, online gaming, online advertising, and you see what the comparison versus China and US. And you say, and I don't want to ruin the day, but just giving you a little bit of the feeling of the gap that we collectively need to fill to actually make us make the continent comparable to what we are seeing in the US, in China. You see, we are looking at something around 20% penetration rate compared to China and US, where all the services are in the 17% penetration rate. And if you look at e-commerce, e-government, health, online health service, it's even lower. So yes, it's a continent of opportunity, but if you take the current snapshot, we are actually falling behind, and there is a lot of gap that we need collectively to unlock. So in MTN, we say we want to be a player to actually reduce this gap. So we say what can we do about it? So we start by analysis what are the root cause of the gap in consumption of the service versus what we are seeing in the rest of the planet. Of course, the two obvious ones are the network coverage and the devices. You need to have access to the internet, and you need to have the right device to actually consume it. But those are not the only issue that our consumer in the continent are facing. In Africa, the cost of data is still something that is an issue for most of the people in the continent. In the rest of the planet, voice and data has become somehow a commodity that you paid without really taking care of it. In Africa, voice is going down, but if you look at the actual capability of people to actually purchase and consume data, people are still struggling to actually buy the data and actually have the relevant data to consume the service that they want. Payment is also a big topic. In the continent, if I take South Africa aside, where the credit card and the banking system is very well developed, but in the rest of the continent, there is a lot of issue of people having the actual capability to actually pay for the service because the banking system is not well developed. And there is an overall accessibility issue. People don't know that the service exists. They have sometimes the language barrier, and of course there is in some countries some literacy issue. So as MTN, we try. Let's take each of those topics and let's try to solve them one by one. Yep. Cool. So of course, network and device, that's the job of what the core telco is doing. The telcos overall, not only MTN, but every telco, the core of what the telco are doing, it's building the good quality network and bringing the device and discussing with the device manufacturer to bring the relevant device to the user. MTN is of course very active on that. We have launched a 5G network in 6 of our country as of today. The network coverage is increasing a lot, and we are actively working with the device manufacturer to be able to bring affordable device to the end user. By the way, we have a specific discussion on what's happening on 5G device because we still believe that 5G device, as of today, are still too expensive for the mass audience. On my side, we double click, we zoomed on the other issue to try to solve them. So on the data issue, what we are working on, we did a lot of surveys saying how can we unlock the data challenge that most people are actually facing, and we came with a solution that we are actually implementing in our go-to-market for the service. Is actually blending the service with the cost of data, so that for most of our service for the years to come, you wouldn't need to worry about purchasing data on the side, but you purchase the service, and we give you the relevant data to actually be able to consume the service that you just purchased. Of course, we are building the capability to sell the service and to access the service. Regarding the payments topic, The telco have been instrumental to actually solve the payment and the issue that the continent is facing by launching their own payment service, somehow replacing the credit card. You might know that MTN is operating a service called Momo, mobile money, which kind of that's a wallet that replaces the payment mechanism. Of course, if you buy it in South Africa, you don't see this that much because in South Africa, again, it's super developed regarding a payment method. But if you are in all of our other operation, take Ghana or Uganda, you couldn't think of paying something without tuning the MTN Momo service. So in that respect, we are actually replacing in a way the banking industry and creating the capability for people to actually purchase and then consume the service. One other topic that we are actually investing a lot is the content localization. Although we are global, we are in our new strategy, we are building global capabilities, we are building global services, but we are also in the meantime building hyper-localization, hyper-localized content, and we are looking and working with a lot of local content provider and service provider, because our belief, and that's especially true for Africa, that you shouldn't see the continent as a whole. People want to consume the service that they know, the service that are close to them, in many cases the service that are in their own local language, not necessarily English or French. So that is the topic we are working on, like the ability to deliver services in multiple language in a localized way, services that are super relevant to our local consumer in each of our 18 operations. So that's being done. That's a little bit of a theory. Let me give you a little bit of example of the thing we are working on and like the area that we are pushing. Of course, the most obvious one is the content and entertainment topic. You're probably aware that content and entertainment, if you look at it from worldwide, from a telco point of view, most telco in the world have a huge content and entertainment arm. In some country, if you look at Spain, the local telco have merged with the pay TV operator. That's not happening in Africa as of today. And in the rest of the world, if you look at South America, if you look at Asia, most telco actually have a strong content arm. In Africa, it doesn't happen at this stage. If you look at it, even in MTN, as of today, it's fair to say that what we are doing in content is quite small. And it comes from a lot of specificity. And also because the telco were not prioritizing the topic in the past. So that has changed. At least in MTN, we consider that building a strong content business, it's something that is super important. But of course, we are doing it in quite different ways than you will do it in the rest of the world. We are a continent where the mobile device is the main device. If you look at the penetration of TV set, I could have shared this stat also with you, is far lower than anywhere in the planet. So the main screen is actually the mobile phone, and the capability and the willingness to consume the content is quite different from what we are seeing in the rest of the world. However, we have a strong belief that the content, there is a content space that can be leveraged, and content is not limited and should not be limited to the rich tier of the population. There is a huge opportunity to bring good quality content for everybody. And not only because there are the device to consume, but there is also huge creativity across the continent. I'm spending a lot of time in Nigeria, where there is the Nollywood space with a lot of producer. There is a lot of innovation, creation, content, ideas. Of course, the same is happening in South Africa and the rest of the continent. So there are the devices to consume, and there is a creativity, the creator, the producer, the willingness to create local content that is making a lot of sense. So on our side, we are clearly embracing this content path. and we are launching, and we are about to launch a couple of initiatives. We are working on an MTN TV project, which actually already exists in some of our French-speaking operation, but we are making it global. So we are creating a portal, a TV experience that will be accessible both on mobile phone and on the TV set. That will be a gateway to access good quality content, both linear channel, on-demand channel, all the things you can think of a content approach. And second pillar of our content strategy, we are building important partnership, big partnership with global player. Those are the three I can disclose to you because they're already live, but more are coming. We've got a strong partnership with Disney+, which is already live in South Africa. We got very strong partnership with Showmax, the on-demand arm of MultiChoice. Showmax is already live through MTN in South Africa, but it is rolling out to other MTN countries very soon. And for the French-speaking country, we have a similar agreement with Canal+, the French pay TV arm. And Canal+ deal, Canal+ service is already live as we speak in Côte d'Ivoire, in Cameroon, and in Congo. And again, is going to be to open in other French-speaking operation. So big partnership on the video side. Similar things is happening on the gaming side. We have a group-wide, African-wide partnership with Gameloft, and we are deploying an MTN Game World service that is live in most of our operation as we speak, in South Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria, and is doing amazing results. So you see, it's a lot of investment, lot of focus on the consumer experience, on the quality of content, on partnership. We are actually applying the data topic I was sharing with you. All the offer you can subscribe if you look at Canal+, Disney+, and Showmax. All the offer includes the data to consume the content that we are selling. So meaning that to consume Showmax here, you don't need to worry about the data. You just purchase the service and you get the data that you need to actually use the service. And we also invest on some of the free-to-air content, and that is going through our IOBA operation. Through IOBA, you have a lot of local content, what we call micro apps, and that you could also consume using IOBA in a zero-rated way. Again, unlocking the issue of people not necessarily having the right data to consume the service. So that's what we do on content. Of course, more to come, more partnership to be announced. I hope in the coming weeks. But that's not everything we do, and that's personally what I like very much about this job. Is we looked at it. What else can we do on the continent besides doing, if you allow me to say, the usual content arm that all of our telco in the world are actually doing? And we quickly found out that there are other service that could be super relevant for the continent. And this one is quite Africa specific. Because in Africa, there are a lot of unfilled need. There are a lot of basics people need that are not fulfilled or fulfilled in a very narrow way, only targeting, again, the higher tier of the population. So our view is we have the capability to unlock consumption of and the delivery to the mass market audience on a couple of clear, super important need. So the list is huge that we have looked at. As of today, we have prioritized 3 topics. The first one is health. We believe that if you compare Africa to the rest of the world, there is a need for service around health, not only necessary health insurance, but service around doctor appointment, e-medicine, health information. So we are actively working on finding a way to actually bring health service to the continent. The second pillar on this is education. And education is something amazing, and in a way, it's a challenge for the continent, because if you look at the growth of the population, there is still a big chunk of the population that doesn't access good quality education. Again, in South Africa, it's a little bit different and ahead of the rest of the continent. But if you look at the continent as a whole, education is still a pain point. So we looked at it and we find using the mobile phone, we have the capability to have a role and to play a role in what's happening on education, both in education for kids, because there are some needs to support the kids, to do homeschooling, to do a little bit of support for the kids when they are at home. And then there is also an even bigger opportunity on continuing education. From what I learned of the continent so far, there is a huge population in their 30s, 40s who want to create their own business, who want to make a better life of themselves, to want to launch their own thing. And there is a huge willingness to create, to invest. But then many people are being stuck by the fact that they lack the skills to actually do what they want, what they wish, what they would love to do in their life. And our belief is like we've got the capability to actually help people get the skills they need to create what they want to do in their life. And there we've got some project that is a little bit too early to share at this stage, but we've got some amazing project on the basic education and on continuing education that will unlock, that we are actually testing as of today in some of our operation, Nigeria not to name it, in which we are actually bringing the capability to access to quality education and going up to the job placement that we can think of, or the capability to create your own company, which is the dream of many citizens in the continent. The last one is, we call it security, it's around IoT. So it's the capability to you protect your health, you learn, but you also need to protect your home. Right now, the capability to protect your home is something that is limited to the rich people who have a big house. But as of today, if you have an income let's say in the average, most people don't have the capability to protect your home from breakage, and we are building a super cost-effective solution that is going to affordable solution that is going to bring the capability for people who want it to protect their house as their apartment using the telco network. So you see, those are a lot of opportunity. This is early stage, but here and our team are super proud to actually be working on those projects and to actually have an impact. Of course, we are looking at business, but we are also looking at having an impact, and I believe that's also the job that the company should be doing. So yes, as a conclusion, I'm very optimistic from everything that is happening on the continent. I'm really proud to be part of this adventure. We as an MTN, we are very humble. We don't think we can succeed by ourselves, but we are really in the partnership mode. Most of the topic I talk today is through partnership, but still we think like as the biggest telco in the continent, we have a big role to play in like unlocking the digital future for the continent. Thank you.
And I must tell you, your exploration on how digital inclusion can empower communities through accessible content and entertainment is truly inspiring.